Welcome YouTube, my name is Nicolo Rigano and this is my barber dreams. So today we're going to do a mid-bald fade with really curly top. I'm going to start out here. This is my Wahls balding clippers and it's a 5/0 blade, so it gets super close, and I love doing it with bald fades. I think it makes it look that much cleaner. And it is a mid-bald fade, so I won't bring up the bald line too high. I kind of keep it right above the ear, if not at its level. And you want to make sure when you're making any line, especially the bald line, or any line to start off that's going to be your guideline, you want it to be straight and symmetrical with the head of your client, because that's very important, and that's really going to have the shape of your whole fade. So if your lines are crooked, your fade's going to look off center. It's not going to look right when you're done. So it's very important to get all the lines straight first. So I have my Wahls full shaver here, and again, I just think I love doing this with bald fades because it just makes it very, very clean and very smooth. I think clients appreciate it and they prefer that feel. But if they're asking, maybe strictly a bald fade, not so much a skin fade, or whatever, and say they don't want it too low, I mean, always make sure you ask, but most of the time, they want it. So you're gonna make that guideline with your true one, aka your just no guard on it with the blade all the way open. So again, you're gonna come with the shape of his head and make it smooth all the way around. So we got some lever work. So you're just gonna open and close the blade as you're going up and down the guideline. And so what I always like to do, I like to start out fading down, so I really make sure I don't raise the line. So I'll start off, I had my true one all the way open, and then I'll close it the slightest bit and just keep flicking up until everything blends nicely, and then I'm going to close it slowly as I'm going down the guideline. So eventually you're going to end up at the bottom where the first initial line is, and your blade's going to be all the way closed, and you just want to repeat that process again and again on the guideline, and you just want to really flick that lever, play with it a little bit. And the more you start cutting hair, the more you start doing fades, you'll get what I mean, and it'll just be easier for you. Repetition is the mother of skill. The great ones told me that. So now I have my one guard on, completely closed, and you're gonna give yourself enough room. Go up about an inch or so, because you want your fade to have a nice transition. So you want to give yourself enough room. So I'm going here, and I'll always go back, with the clippers right on the same spot again, just to really make sure it's cleaned up. I'll go back a couple times, as you can see I'm doing here. Now we're going to jump right into 1.5 guard all the way open. That's the next step. And again, I have the blade all the way open, and I'm going to slightly close it going down. So eventually, when I'm at the bottom of the guideline, I'm going to have the blade all the way closed, and I'm going to flick that out. like I said before, work that lever. And a good technique to really get out lines, even when you think you can't get it out, and you keep using the same thing that you put in the line with, try to use the corners. And if you really have to, take off that guard and go with your true one, or like the guard below it, and see if that works. You're gonna get the line out. It's very possible. So I'm going here with the no guard, and the blade is all the way open, and that's like just a little shorter than a half guard close. And now I'm here with my Andis Slim Line trimmers, and I'm just kind of cleaning up where that initial ball line was. I just kind of saw something, and I always say detail throughout the whole cut. If you see something, clean it up right then and there so you don't forget later. But your whole cut, you're going to be detailing. So we got some clipper over comb action here, and you'll see I swipe across first, and then I'll go back and I'll swipe up to clean it up. So you're taking down the bulk when you swipe across, and then you're more so cleaning up or detailing when you're swiping up. And you want to get in the habit when you're doing clipper over comb, getting like a scooping motion with the comb. And I actually just learned this new technique in school. I do like using the flat comb, but one of my instructors put an all-purpose comb, which is skinnier, in my hands, what to do with clipper over comb. And he had me close the blade all the time instead of doing just like a true one. And it really makes a difference, especially if you're doing a cut and you don't know really how to get down the bulk, and it gets it extra close, I guess I should say. So you'll learn different techniques everywhere, whether you're in school, barber expos. It's always great to put all those tips and skills to use. So I got the 1.5 guard open, and let's see how many times I could say you're gonna close while you go down. It's so true. It's very important. That's why I always repeat myself, but you have to follow those steps. So now I'm just more so flicking up on that line with the 1.5, and you'll see me, I'll go back and forth between the 1 guard all the way open and the half guard. So I'm taking that line out, I'm detailing, I'm cleaning up that section right there, right before the ridge. And I'm very careful that I don't raise that line anymore, because you want the dark areas right there, but you still want it cleaned up. So I'm very careful with how far or how high I go with my clippers. So I'm detailing and lining up here, and not every client that you get is gonna want a box out for their hairline. You'll get some gentlemen that they'll have more so a widow's peak, and you don't want to touch that. You don't want to line it up or box it out. You just kind of maybe get the corners, if that. Always make sure you ask them, and make sure you know the style that they're going for and what would look best for them. But in this case, my client likes getting a box out. So right here, I'm going to blend the beard, and I'm going to start with no guard, all the way open. And I'll just go back and forth with my trimmers to get extra low, and my clippers with no guard, all the way open. And I'll even hit the full shaver there in a little bit. Anything to detail, anything to get that smooth transition between the beard and the fade. You could even try swiping down with your clippers. So I believe I have the half guard on, and now it's back to no guard. and you're going to repeat the steps on the other side, but for the sake of the video, I did not include that. Right here, we're just lining up the beard, the C-cup, getting it extra crispy and sharp. And you'll see me using the corners, and that's a good technique when you're doing a beard lineup. So if he has long hair on the top, you know, make sure you push the hair out of the way with a brush. If it's super long, you can even use clips. But yeah, always be careful what you're cutting. Make sure you're just hitting the edge of the lineup. So my client wanted a little length off of his top, and when you're doing curly hair, I suggest that you can maybe damp it a little bit, but don't get it too wet, because curly hair, it stretches a lot, especially when you cut it. So you don't want to make it too wet, because you'll cut it and it'll actually be shorter than it appears when it dries, because when it's wet it expands. Yeah, so I just took a little bit off, kind of cut it more dry. So, and right here, just doing a little design here. He wanted 2 lines. So when I'm doing a design, I'm always delicate, but also confident. You have to be confident when you're doing any design or anything, especially if you think you can't do it. I mean, if you really think you can't do it, you know, then don't, or you could pass it off to a fellow barber in the shop that can. But I love doing designs. I take pride in them. I'm always willing to try something new. So I'm gonna have the steam towel here for him, which I think is very, very key in the service. And that's my brother Tino to the right. You can check out his channel, Tino Rigano. I'll put a link up. And he's doing fitness vlogs, and he's a life coach. So definitely check out his videos. And right here, I'm gonna apply some lather. It's actually a shave gel. It's Tomb 45. Shout out to Tomb 45 and Chris Bossio and all their movement. Now I'm just edging up with the straight razor. And yeah, you want to stretch the skin with every stroke that you do with the straight razor. It's going to make it easier to glide. It's going to ensure, or at least make it harder for you to cut the client. And it's just going to feel way more comfortable for them. And when you're straight razoring in a design, you kind of just want to wiggle the blade. You don't want to move too much. So now I'm going to apply an astringent, what's more so an aftershave. And it's different for every skin type. So if they're irritant, you know, use a lotion instead. And I just have some curling gel here for his hair, which kind of helps it pop a little bit. And then I'm going to come with the blow dryer. It's really, I like blow drying with product in hair because it really just holds that style. Yeah, so I like the look of that. And there's the finished product. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know if I missed anything, and definitely give me some feedback on the video. Let me know if you like the action camera. I really am enjoying using it, and I'm going to continue doing it with my videos. So thank you again for watching. Make sure you follow my Instagram to check out more of my work. And until next time, YouTube, peace out.